Hi, this is Scott with eTrailer, and today we're taking a look at and installing our Roadmaster Battery Disconnect for gas trucks for our 2025 Chevy Silverado 1500. Here you can see our battery disconnect installed, and what this is going to do for you is it's going to hook up to your battery, one to your terminals and then the other to the actual line. And what it's going to do is be able to break the current from here that's coming to your battery. So what it's going to do is basically not drain your battery when you're flat towing, so you're not going to have all your accessories and everything running in your vehicle. Only the necessary components that are being used for your RV are going to be using the battery through the RV. So it's going to set it up so your battery isn't dead when you get to your destination. One of the parts that comes with our battery disconnect is going to be this button. What this is going to be able to do is you can put this button anywhere you want it, where you kind of have it set up where it's accessible, but you don't want to have it too accessible where you're bumping it on accident when you're driving down the road when you're not flat towing. So it's pretty simple to install this. You just drill your hole and run your wiring and plug it in and you're set to go. If you're thinking about doing a flat tow, there's quite a few things you're going to need. You're going to need your base plate kit, and that's going to be what hooks up to your tow bar. You're going to need your tow bar system, which we have here. That's an absolute must. You're going to need your battery disconnect, which disconnects your battery while you are flat towing. And you're going to also have to have a braking system, whether that's air or electric. This one runs on air, so that's the system we have installed on this one. Another thing you're going to need is also your safety cables. You got these attached down here. We're going to need those, so we have those. And then you're also going to need your diode wiring. What that's going to do is going to make all of your lights work in the back that you're going to have to keep it legal, and also you have your indicators in the back so the people behind you can see, and that's what we have plugged in right here in the front. As far as installation goes for our battery disconnect, it's pretty straightforward. You just got to find a good mounting location for it and run some wires and drill your hole and install your button. If it's something you don't feel like doing yourself or you don't have time, you can always take a look at our dealer locator and have something done locally for you. Or if you feel like installing yourself, stick around, watch our video, and we'll help you get it installed. To start our installation for our battery switch, we have it mounted up here. You always want to find a good location that's as close to the battery as you can get. They say maximum about 8 inches away. So we have ours set up right here against our firewall, and that's going to give us good access to our factory ground along with our positive terminal where we're going to make our connections. We have our positive cable. We're going to end up removing this post down in here. So we're going to start by removing this nut that connects to this plate. We'll take a 10 millimeter and back off our terminal that is on our post. Now we'll lift our plate up, pull off our terminal that goes to our post. Now we have our positive terminal, and we need to be able to get this to go back down in here and sit flat. As you can see, this little portion is going to get in the way. We are going to cut off our jump start tab because it comes down really close to where our connections come together. So I'm just going to come across this and get this out of the way so we have no way for it to coming in contact with our connections we're about to put on. Now we'll take our cable that is marked battery post. With these, you always want to make sure the stickers are in the right location, so refer to your manual and kind of look at it and make sure everything as far as stickers are in the right place before you get it hooked up. Just kind of verify. Now on the GMs, they have a nice little place where we can just pop this on, and it is kind of slotted almost like it's made for this, so that fits rather well right there. We're going to take the nut that we took off over here. We're going to use that right here. We'll just get that started down. In our kit, we have a short bolt and we have star washers on it. We're going to put a star washer under the bottom, one on the top, and we just connected the other wire we had off to our plate. Now we're going to follow that up with the nut from the kit, and we're just basically directly bolting it to this plate. Now we'll come back through and we'll tighten that up. Now we have our white wire that comes off of our solenoid. We're going to strip off a bit of wire off the end. We have a larger ring terminal that does not come in the kit. If you need a larger one, you can get these here at eTrailer. And what we're going to do with this one is I'm going to double this over just a little bit. It gives me a little more to work with. Now we'll just crimp it into place. Okay. Make sure we have a good connection, which we do. Now we'll just run our white wire over here where we have a factory. We had our factory post here, and this is our ground post. And we'll tighten this down, and this is going to give us a really good factory ground location. Now you will need to trim out some pieces of plastic on the inside of the box. Like right here, you'll have a flat part that comes up. If you just snip it down the sides and then bend it, you'll be able to pop that. Right here you have one, and right around here where the ends of our terminal come together, you'll have to trim a piece of that out, and then everything will fall into place. Now once you get that, just keep test fitting it until you get it right. But you'll want it to be able to click down front and back nice and tight, be able to close up, and you have just your wires coming out of the back of your box. Now we got our line that's going to be for our switch that comes off of our solenoid. It's going to have our fuse holder on it already all installed. So we've got it run through. We ran it up in behind our firewall. Did pop out this plastic plug and ran it up under here. So that's going to help keep it down and in place. Ran it over under where our coolant bottle is, down, and now we're going to come back down through here. We're going to find a grommet, and then we're going to run it up in through our firewall into the interior of our vehicle. Now we went ahead and pulled our wire through. Now we need to, and all I really did is just use a piece of airline hose and just tape my wire to it and pull it through the dash. We had to drill a hole in the dash just enough to get our wires through, and this is going to be for something else, so we're leaving this in. Now we need to decide where we want to put our button. You want to make sure you have good access to where you're going to be able to put it in and be able to thread it on, and also be able to plug it in. So right here we have a nice spot. It's out of the way. They're not going to be hitting it with their legs or anything. This part right here I think is where we're going to put it. That way it's out of the way, but still accessible. And another nice thing with this panel is this is our fuse panel. So I can remove this and just do our hole outside of our vehicle, so that'll save some mess. And also I can just tuck some of the wire up in the back of here when I'm done installing it, so that way if they need to take their panel off, they'll be able to still leave their button plugged in and still access their fuses. Now we're just going to take our step bit, and I'm just going to keep checking it like this. Take a little bit out of the back. And check it. You can go a little more. Now we have it brought out to the size we like. Now we can get our button popped in and thread our nut onto the back. Now we separated our wires out of the sheathing for our gray wire. We have a red wire and a black wire. We're going to go ahead and get both of these with our butt connectors on. Just crimp them in place. Make sure you have a good connection. And do the same with your red one. Okay. Now we have our plug-in, and this was pre-stripped. It just was separated, so you just pull off your ends. Now our black wire is going to go to our blue wire. We'll just get that put in place. Push it in as far as you can. And crimp it down. Now we'll do the same with our yellow wire. We'll tuck our extra wire down in behind our panel, so that way if they need to pull off their panel, they'll have the extra wire to move it out of the way. Now with that all tucked away, we'll plug in our button. You want to make sure you have the little notch. That's where we're going to lock it in place, and we have our lock side. Click it into place. Now that we have it all clicked in place, we'll just push our wires behind our panel and put our panel back in place. Now we'll install our fuse that comes in the kit. And this is a 7.5 amp fuse. Get it installed in our fuse holder. Get it pressed down in place. Cover it up. Now we can test our switch. And we hear the click out there. So it is working. Now we have our accessories on, so that means our switch has our battery plugged in. Now I'll turn off our accessories. I'll hit our switch, hit our button. Now we have no accessories and nothing comes on, so we are good to go. And that was a look at our Roadmaster Battery Disconnect for gas trucks for our 2025 Chevy Silverado 1500. I'm Scott with eTrailer. Thanks for watching.